What is up, everybody? We're back for another Tip for Tuesday. Brett, nice of you to join us, man. I'm starting to like these a little bit, these Tip for Tuesdays.
Definitely, man. Me too. Little nuggets of wisdom. I'm loving it.
Good stuff, good stuff. So last week we talked a little bit about just starting off managing your buyers list. That really it's more than just adding names to an email list, adding, names on the, into a Google Doc or something like that. It's a lot more than that. It's keeping track of what your buyers are wanting, on a spreadsheet or in your CRM, all the criteria they're looking at. So, but what from we know from buyers, their criteria changes all the time. Our criteria changes. Your buyers' criteria is going to change as well. So depending on the market, depending on what they want. So one of the things you should be doing as well as maintaining that spreadsheet or maintaining what your buyers are looking for is maintaining the relationships with them, checking in with them from time to time, fairly regularly to find out if their buying criteria is changed, but also just to have that presence with them to make sure they're still aware of you. Just maintain that kind of personal touch along with that. So Brett, I know you're one of the biggest buyers in Indianapolis when it comes to buying from other wholesalers and things. So I just want to kind of throw it over to you a little bit when we're talking about people maintaining relationships to do, and as you're on their buyers list, what are some maybe things that you're seeing or things that you wish that maybe some people should be doing?
Yeah, definitely. So one of the biggest things is this is a relationship business, as we talk about all the time. And a lot of times in wholesaling, we're so focused on maintaining the relationships with these sellers, the motivated sellers, because that's where we make a lot of the money, right? If we get a great deal, that great deal is easy to sell. But sometimes we forget about to nurture and maintain those relationships with our buyers. Like you said, Brian, things change, and one of the things I see change with investors so much is cash flow. For example, there was a buyer that we worked with a couple years ago all the time. They're buying multiple properties from us, and then we hadn't heard from them in a while, and we weren't really maintaining and nurturing that relationship. Well, we start contacting them, communicating a little bit more, and then all of a sudden they sell a bunch of properties. They have a lot of cash, and then I think they bought 3 properties from us in one single month.
Hmm.
So that's one way things can change. But like you said, sometimes people go from flipping to rentals. But as a wholesaler, I think just kind of putting a timetable on there. Buyers are a little bit different. Some people might get annoyed if you're contacting them every week. But I'd say once a month, just to kind of, especially your top buyers, reach out to them, see how they're doing. And you don't always have to have a property. Most of the time, wholesalers think that if I were to contact you, I have to have something to give you, which is typically a property. And that doesn't always have to be the case. A lot can happen. You just be like, hey, Brian, this is Brett, just checking in with you. I haven't talked to you in a month or two. And how's things going? And, what's going on with your family? And are you still buying in Indianapolis? So what are you seeing with the market? Just kind of bringing up conversations. And you would be floored by how many times that turns into couple of deals down the road, and you just don't know what happens. So I'd say about once a month, just to kind of phone call, text, email, and buyers are a little bit different too. Some people don't want to be called all the time. They might like text a little bit better, email a little bit better, and you kind of put that in your notes as well. How do they like to communicate?
Yeah, definitely. Those are two things I definitely think you should add to that spreadsheet as well. Just some personal touches on them, and are they married? Do they have any kids? What's their dog's name? Anything that what kind of sports they like or teams. All that stuff just helps you build that relationships, and you don't have to remember it every time. It's right there in the spreadsheet. But then also, what type of communication they prefer. Just like you hopefully are doing with motivated sellers. If a motivated seller likes to text more than anything else, you use a lot of emojis. Hopefully, you're kind of mirroring that with your buyers as well, knowing how often you should keep in contact with them. Maybe they're a real personable person and they want to kind of touch base through an email or through a text once a week. Some people are a little bit more and stuff. So yeah, that also comes along with maintaining those relationships. But thanks a lot. We're going to talk about, we'll be back next week. We're going to talk a little bit more about how big should your buyers list actually be? And is it important to just have this huge buyers list or what's going on with that? So see you guys next week.